This is the News 4 Rundown.
And welcome in, everybody. I'm Jim Handley. It's Friday, August 1st, and here are some of the top stories we're following for you tonight. Coming up, more than half of all federal funding for gun violence prevention programs has been cut, leaving communities to figure out how to curb crime with fewer resources. We talk about the impact of these rollbacks. Plus, we're talking Terry McLaurin and the fallout from his ongoing contract controversy, the latest on the Commander's star wide receivers trade request, and what's next in the negotiations. And we need your help clearing local animal shelters. We'll introduce you to one pup who's already had some time to find some forever homes out there. We hope you can help him. But we begin tonight with the proposed RFK proposed stadium deal. The Washington Commanders' return to the old stadium site is looking more and more likely. Today, the D.C. Council passed its first vote on the multi-billion-dollar package. It's a topic that's seen a lot of support from D.C. residents and leaders, but also one that continues to receive some pushback. News 4's Mark Seagraves was at today's council meeting and explained what happens next.
While the D.C. Council did vote 9-3 to give preliminary approval to bring the Washington Commanders back to D.C. and build a new stadium, today's vote was not without drama. The hearing started almost 2 hours late, and that's because there was behind-the-scenes wrangling between different labor groups, the team, and council members who wanted to see more requirements for the team to use union labor, not just to build the stadium, but to build all the other development around the stadium. And they did reach that agreement late this morning that paved the way for council members Louis George and Zach Parker to vote yes. That's what got them to the 9 votes ultimately. But there were 3 council members who voted no, council members Brianne Nadeau, Matt Fruman, and Robert White. Here's how they explained their no votes.
The problem I have is on this accountability for the delivery of the mixed-use development. It is a very, very important issue. And just relying on the hope of parallel interests is not the way business deals work. In the end, the Commanders rejected those modest mechanisms, and that is very, very troubling.
It doesn't sit right that we don't have money for school buildings, but we have money for a stadium. It doesn't sit right that we don't have money to fix our police stations or fire stations, but we have money for a stadium. It doesn't sit right that we hit our limit for helping first-time homeowners on Talbot Street and Ward 8 whose homes and futures collapsed because of the city, but we have it for a stadium. Make it make sense.
We should not be forced into approving a multi-billion-dollar deal that will lock in the future direction for a major part of the city and its economy for the next century or more in mere hours, based on an artificial deadline set by the team and the mayor. It's irresponsible, and I'm a no.
Now, again, this is not a done deal. There's a second vote that is required. That will come in mid-September, and it is likely there will be some changes to the legislation between now and then. Several council members, not just the 3 no votes, expressed concerns that they wanted more stringent requirements on the team to have strict deadlines about when the other development around the stadium, the hotels and mixed use and housing, affordable housing, would all be built in that timeline. So that's likely going to be some negotiation over the next 2 weeks between the team and council members. They'll be back September 17th to take that final vote. The mayor will likely sign it, and then it goes to congressional review, and then they can get things started to bring the Washington Commanders back to D.C. At the Wilson Building, Mark Seagraves, News 4.
As you know, Mayor Bowser has been a staunch supporter of this RFK Stadium deal since the very beginning. She was not part of today's meeting, but she did show up just in time to see the vote in person. Here's what she had to say.
We feel very grateful. We are proud of the hard work we've done, and we are one step closer to securing a sure path to transforming 180 acres of land, which has been my promise to D.C. residents all along.
Commanders owner Josh Harris also praising today's approval by the council, calling it transformational for D.C. He said, like many fans, RFK was the site of memories that fueled my love for this team and this city. Now we're closer than ever to reigniting that energy for a new generation. Tonight, we're hearing from one of the council members again who voted against the deal. Robert White has been critical of the bill He proposed 3 amendments to the legislation. All 3 failed to pass. Councilmember White says he can't let his support of the team get in the way of his support for his constituents.
Well, I want people to register that as a representative who was elected to protect people, I have to separate myself as a fan, and I'm a huge fan, from myself as a responsible elected official for the city that has to put the best interests of residents first. So, we've got to shift in this country from this idea that we have to pay taxpayer dollars from people who are already struggling to make ends meet in order to help very rich people get more rich. It just doesn't make sense. And a lot of people in DC and around the country are feeling like things just aren't making sense anymore, but we just keep doing the same thing over and over again. So I'm saying, look, we can have our teams, we can root for our teams, but we've got to treat them like we treat everybody else. We pay our share, you pay your share, and that's how we get along.
As Mark Seagraves noted earlier, Council members Matthew Fruman and Brianna Dew also voted against the bill. Stay with News 4 as we continue following this developing story. Again, this is not a done deal. The next month will be busy as we wait for the council's second vote in September. When we're off air, you can always find the latest news online and, of course, in our NBC Washington app. Now to the cuts the federal government has made that could make our communities less safe. The Trump administration has cut more than half of all federal funding for gun violence prevention programs across the country. $158 million worth of grants were directed to groups in cities like New York, LA, Chicago, and right here in Washington. Joining us tonight to talk about the impact of these rollbacks is Bianca Flowers. She's the race and justice correspondent at Reuters. Thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. We have all seen the cuts this current administration has made with federal programs and agencies. They claim it's to help the nation work more efficiently and stop unnecessary spending. But these programs, like many others, save lives. From what you've learned, how is the federal government justifying these cuts?
Yeah, so thank you for having me. The federal government has really characterized funding cuts across several agencies as a part of a broader realignment of federal priorities aimed at increasing efficiency and cutting what it deems to be ineffective programs. Of the grants that were cut by the Department of Justice, that includes community violence intervention programs. Some of these grants that actually total more than $800 million that have been issued through the Office of Justice programs have been reinstated. To my knowledge, as of today, none of those grants have been reinstated for specifically community violence intervention, particularly those that grassroots organizations that are based in the community. According to the Department of Justice, they've told me that gun violence grants are being eliminated because they no longer effectuate the program's goals or the agency's priorities, which is language that actually was used in the termination letters that I've seen by one of these grantees. And so at this time, it seems that the department is still evaluating whether or not to reinstate these grants.
You also noted the funding for these programs saw some support from law enforcement. Some groups even urged the Attorney General to reinstate the funding. In an administration that touts supporting local law enforcement, why were their concerns not taken into consideration here?
Yeah, that's correct. Several law enforcement leaders, current police chiefs as well as retired police chiefs, had publicly supported the CVI programs through a letter that was sent to Attorney General Pam Bondi asking for the grants to be reinstated. And in that letter, they called these programs particularly life-saving and stated that they had led to measurable reductions in gun violence in their communities. Some of these law enforcement officials also noted that CVI programs help relieve pressure from their departments by addressing conflict and crisis situations before they escalated into violence that requires police intervention. So despite this, The Department of Justice has not reversed course. Legal experts have suggested that the decision may have been driven more ideological by the administrator's priorities than by feedback from law enforcement.
And you also mentioned in your reporting that gun violence has gone down post-pandemic. Most of these grants began being funded in 2022. Many at home might be wondering, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Was that the mindset shared among some of the people you talked with?
The sentiment was more that these programs are less correlation in terms of, it's more correlation and causation, that there has been research done that shows that these programs have been effective in reducing retaliatory shootings, and many program leaders, local officials, gun violence interventionists, that they set the rug, they felt as if the rug was cut from underneath them. So the view of, if it's not working, why stop it? I think that is echoed by both practitioners and beneficiaries who have seen tangible results from these programs.
It'll be interesting to see where we are a year or two from now in all of this. We can't thank you enough for sharing your insights with us. Reuters race and justice correspondent Bianca Flowers, we appreciate you taking time with us.
Thank you so much.
Much more to come tonight on News 4 and the Rundown. Here's a look at what's ahead.
Right now, a temperature of 73 degrees as we head throughout the evening hours. Temperatures hanging out generally in the low 70s with clouds starting to clear as we head toward midnight. I'll have my full forecast after the break.
Fans are freaking out. What is going on with Terry McLaurin and the Washington Commanders? We'll do our best to explain as News 4 continues.
The drama surrounding Commanders star Terry McLaurin and the team has reached a new level as the receiver has now requested a trade out of Washington. So what happens next, and where do the two sides go from here? Our team insider JP Finlay explains.
Hey buddy, how you doing? Hi. Terry McLaurin's a fan favorite. He's been great since he was drafted by Washington 6 years ago, and now he wants a trade. Well, it's not that simple. Let's start with the facts. Terry McLaurin is under contract for the 2025 season. Washington could simply say, hey, show up, play on the deal you've got. But for Terry, there's not much guaranteed money tied to this season, and he wants an extension. He wants to know that he's going to stay in Washington for the foreseeable future and have guaranteed money tied to that deal. What's making things complicated? Adam Peters, the Commanders' general manager, has said repeatedly, we want McLaurin to be with us for a long time. However, how do you come up with the valuation for an absolutely stud receiver that's set to turn 30 years old in September? Most receivers that get second or third contract extensions are a little bit younger. And for McLaurin, while he's outperformed his age and he's clearly an outlier in what some consider to be a problematic age range, still, Father Time is always ticking. So for Washington, they're in this tough place. This is a complex deal to get done. Now, what are the comparisons to McLaurin's contract? Well, DK Metcalf got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers and got a new contract along the way. McLaurin has probably outproduced Metcalf in the pros, but Metcalf's a couple of years younger and he's more of a physical freak. As for the trade talks, a lot of people say, hey, I want to trade, only to go on and re-sign with their organization. Need an example? T. Higgins did it earlier this year with the Cincinnati Bengals. Requested a trade, then re-signed with the Bengals. Earlier this year, Myles Garrett, Cleveland Browns, same thing. You want something sort of local? Think back a couple years ago when Lamar Jackson very famously asked for a trade out of Baltimore, and Lamar still plays in Baltimore. I know this is getting ugly. Still, Washington has more than a month until they're actually on the field against the New York Giants. Hopefully, cooler heads can prevail, a deal gets done, and Terry McLaurin is exactly where he belongs in the burgundy and gold. Covering the Commanders, I'm JP Finlay.
All right, after our heat wave, finally some relief today, and it's only going to get better, huh?
I mean, incredibly better. I think this is going to be the best weekend, Jim, so far this summer. But it was cool today. Quite the shocker of a day for the first day of August. The coldest start to August in 77 years, going back to 1948. Our high temperature around 76 degrees, just incredible. In fact, compared to yesterday, it felt about 30 degrees cooler. Our heat index today, non-existent. Our Our heat index yesterday, 105 degrees. And to date, this is the second most humid summer on record. So we're looking at low humidity levels this weekend into early next week. So some really good news there. For tonight, the clouds, they'll continue to slowly clear out. It's comfortably cool. The weekend, low humidity, really, really lovely. And next week, temperatures staying in the 80s for highs with a chance for rain moving in later in the week, Thursday on into Friday. So if you're thinking about getting the car washed this weekend, it's going to be the perfect weekend to do so as we're dry for some time. Here's a look at temperatures across the area. 73 in Hagerstown, 72 in Annapolis, and 72 out in Manassas. Now looking to tomorrow morning, we're starting off really nice. Temperatures in the 60s, low 60s in the suburbs, 66 here in Washington with plenty of sun. But as we move throughout the day, we'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine and lower humidity levels than today. It was still a little bit muggy out there today, a little bit damp as well. A high temperature tomorrow around 80 degrees. Sunday, we start off with temperatures, get this, in the 50s and low 60s. So hints of autumn in the air on Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, it's pleasant, a temperature of 83, mostly to partly sunny skies out there on your Sunday. Now, looking at how the weather's going to impact your weekend, it's nice at the beaches, but definitely throw in the long sleeves or the beach hoodie. With breezy winds and temperatures in the 70s, the water right now is actually going to be warmer than the air temperature. Brunch, definitely want to have that outdoors. Outdoor exercise is perfection this weekend. Monday, a high temperature of 85. Tuesday, another high of 85, a little bit more cloud cover on Tuesday. Wednesday, highs in the low 80s. Low 80s next Thursday and Friday with a chance for some rain both days. And right now, next weekend, looking quite nice as well with high temperatures in the mid 80s Saturday as well as Sunday.
Amelia, thank you. Since Friday is finally here, it's time to have a little fun on News 4. Every week, our Tommy McFly invites viewers to test their knowledge in the news. It's a News 4 quiz, so take it away, Tommy.
Welcome to the News 4 quiz. It's our weekly trivia challenge where we test your knowledge of local news and the things everyone's talking about. Let's meet our guests.
Hey, my name is Jade, and my fun fact is I'm an avid road cyclist here in the DMV.
Hi, I'm Taylor from Falls Church, and my fun fact is I got to meet George Clooney back in March.
Where did you meet George Clooney? Just real quick, I gotta know.
At the stage door, I got rush tickets to see Good Night and Good Luck.
I saw Good Night, Good Luck. I didn't meet Clooney.
Yes.
But you get to be on the Bell and Buzzer. Say hi to Tracy Wilkins.
Hi. Hello. I'm so happy to be here, Tommy. It's happy to be here with Jade and Taylor. Finally.
Yes, it's happening. We're glad you're here.
I can't wait.
Hopefully you, did you think Clooney did well in Good Night and Good Luck?
Oh, yeah.
I think Tracy Wilkins is a bit of a Clooney fan.
I
there
am.
we go.
Listen, that's a whole other quiz.
His eyes were
okay, hang on. Go ahead. Jade, do you have any thoughts on George Clooney?
We all have thoughts.
I got thoughts on the News 4 quiz. Here's how it works. Your name is your buzzer. It's a best of 4 trivia challenge. Please, for the love of all things, don't Google. And if we end up in a tie, you bet I got a plan for that. All right, here we go. Former D.C. sports star Gilbert Arenas is facing federal charges for allegedly allowing illegal gambling in his California mansion, according to an unsealed indictment. What sport is Gilbert Arenas famous for playing?
Jade.
Jade.
Basketball for the Wizards.
Basketball is correct. It's Plan B for a fired federal worker from Montgomery County. Darcy Spencer brought us the story of a food truck serving up what appear to be delicious sausages after Kevin Nash was let go from this federal aid organization.
Jade.
Taylor.
Jade?
The USAID.
I'm going to let that go.
You gonna let that go?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Casey's the judge and arbiter of all
Thank
things.
you.
Number 3, in Virginia, what looks like an energy drink might give you a different kind of buzz.
Taylor. It's Celsius.
That's right. Where's the... There you go. 2-1.
Now, I drink a Celsius every day, and a colleague sent me the article this morning. As a teacher, she said, if this happens to you, that would be hilarious. So, sorry.
And you're in Virginia, so beware.
Right, exactly.
The commander's potential move, question number 4, back to D.C. has been getting, let's just say, a lot of attention lately. What quadrant of D.C. are the fields at RFK campus in?
Taylor.
Taylor.
Southeast. Southeast.
Southeast is incorrect. Jade, do you want to steal it?
Northeast.
Northeast is correct.
Or Northeast, as we say in Northeast. Yes.
There you go.
Very good.
Gotcha. All right, Jade, congratulations. You got us on the News 4 quiz. Taylor, cheers to you and your Celsiuses. I'm in that boat with you. I'm checking them very, very carefully these days.
Thank you.
And if you want to be a part of our future News 4 quiz, scan that QR code that's been on your screen. Tracy Wilkins, investigative reporter. Thanks for keeping us honest on these questions.
Well, you know, I do my part. Yeah. Congratulations.
Back to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Taylor.
That's all. When we come right back on the Rundown tonight, more on the dedication of the veterinarians and staff at local shelters. It helps them find forever homes for some of our furry friends. How you can help support their ongoing efforts. Tomato potato. Researchers have discovered the fruit helped create the vegetable. Scientists say the potato evolved from tomatoes around 9 million years ago. They analyzed more than 500 genomes from varying potato species and found that all potatoes are made up of 40% of tomato genes. Their findings, published in the journal Cells, suggest that the modern-day spud arose from a hybrid of tomatoes and a group of potato-like plants from South America. Pretty fascinating. Finally tonight, it's time to help clear the shelters here at NBC4. We're happy to pair fur parents with adorable dogs and cats. News 4's Megan McGrath introduces us to a dog with a name you just can't resist.
Watching him run and play, you'd never guess that just a month ago, this sweet little dog was found severely burned and roaming the streets alone. Fortunately, a Good Samaritan found him and brought him to the Brandywine Valley SPCA.
A Good Samaritan saw him in the street, saw the terrible state that he was in. She lured him into her apartment building using Cheetos, where he got his name from.
With antibiotics and skin treatments, including the use of honey, Cheetos is now on the road to recovery and is doing well.
Overall, his skin looks incredible. When he first came in, obviously it was pretty dire, but within the first week, he was making leaps and bounds with his skin.
Cheeto's story is a testament to the dedication of the veterinarians and staff, as well as the volunteers and fosters that make this kind of care possible. If you have a place in your heart and home, fosters are always needed. Or consider adopting an animal.
They may not have had the greatest first chapter, but that doesn't mean that they're not amazing dogs too. They were just kind of starting them out on the best part of their life.
While he got off to a rough start, Cheetos is one lucky pup. A potential adopter has come forward and he will soon leave the shelter for his forever home. But there are other animals ready for adoption, and all adoption fees have been waived this weekend.
Every animal that gets adopted, it frees up space for us to welcome in another pet in need, and frees up resources as well, so that we can care for some of the more extreme cases like Cheetos. Good boy, Cheetos.
Megan McGrath, News 4.
Cheetos. Gotta love it. Again, our annual NBC4 and Telemundo 44 Clear the Shelters campaign aims to find forever homes for shelter pets. All month long, participating local shelters will waive their adoption fees. If you don't have room in your home to adopt another pet, you can also scan the QR code on your screen to donate. That campaign will run all month long. Let's all chip in and help out. That's going to do it for us on the News 4 Rundown for this Friday. Be sure to join us right back here for News 4 at 11. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you back here on Monday.